Hey YouTube, it's Widgie here, coming at you with some more strategy games with AoE 3DE, and today I've got another 2v2 replay analysis for you, so I hope you really enjoy it. I'm playing with my friend Nick, aka Nick Zilla, and I'm playing as a Portuguese, and he is playing as the good old Ottomans. So I hope you enjoy it, and without further ado, with the press of a button, we are hopefully in. Here we go. Okay, so this is me playing as the Portuguese. I've only recently been playing as them, both on the 1v1 and also team games as well, but I decided to give them a go on a ranked game. So this is quite an interesting game. This is the map that has like a sort of a pond of water, or pool of water, or a lake you could call it, I guess, whatever you want to call it, in the center, and then you've also got the option down the right hand side there for some water. So this is where I believe I go for a nice water boom that I try. So please bear in mind a lot of caveats here and disclaimers. I'm still learning Portuguese. This was probably like maybe my 6th or 7th game with them, so I'm still learning how they work, what their pros and cons are, and the best way of playing them. So if you guys have got any tips, please drop it down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. So just herding here, just getting some food up, quite standard really for the Portuguese start, and using the explorer there just to see if there's any decent treasures around. And as I say, these are some of the tips I actually mentioned in my recent video, the 5 beginner tips for your economy. So you can see I'm trying to do the best there of learning. That was kind of a weird one there. The deers went off to the left there. They should have really gone off to the right towards the TC, but they didn't. So we might pause parts of this as well. I'll sort of go through bits that I probably did wrong or I could have improved on, and also we might take it off of the locked view as well, so we can have a little look at some bits and bobs. But there will be some dancing around on the screen because I'm hotkeying a bit at the start, so it'll be a little bit manic, but hopefully it should go well. So as you can see there, that's just I didn't actually know. I just found out today actually that you can actually move that little buoy, or that little bouncing thing in the sea. I didn't actually know that's where your ships spawn, because I thought you have to have a dock to spawn ships from your home city cards. For some reason, I just had this idea in my head that you need to build a dock first, but you don't, which is kind of crazy. So that's a bit of a game changer for me. So I had no idea, because sometimes you can get like cards like give you fishing boats and stuff like that. So you don't actually have to build a dock to be able to get that from the home city, which is kind of crazy. I didn't even know. Anyway, going for schooners as the first card here. So we will just quickly have a little pause here. You can see I'm getting into the next stage quite early actually, so I'm quite happy with that at just under 2 minutes 30, which is good. And this is my deck here. So you can't see it very well because we aren't in the other ages. But I believe this deck is taken from one of the Aussie Drongo decks for Portuguese. So props to Aussie Drongo for putting this on his Discord server. So you can see here that I've got the schooners, taken that, and at some point potentially take the economic theory, and then we're going to want to focus on a lot of wood to make sure that we get our fishing boat production up in Age 2. Now there's something that I probably could have done on this game, is probably got a lot more fishing boats than I actually did. Ideally, if you want to do a proper water boom, you probably want about 20 fishing boats, and I can't remember how much they cost. I think it's 70 wood. But I think you can get them for about 40 wood once you've got schooners. So 40 wood for a shipping boat, and if you want 20 of them, then you're looking at about, it's not much, about 800, 900 wood potentially, maybe even 1,000 wood max that you need. So 2 wood shipments should sort you out with that. So you can see I'm transferring a few of my veals over to wood so that we can focus on getting shipping. I keep saying shipping boats. It's fishing boats. So we can get some fishing boats. So just getting up into the age now. And I believe my friend Nick here obviously got a trading post, quite standard for Ottoman to do that. I think he was also going a little bit boomy as well with me. I think he was going for potentially, I think it was a semi-FF, so semi-fast fortress. At this point was going for the water boom, so I imagine I was going to be getting into the fast fortress here. This was played a few days ago, so forgive me if I forget a few things, but you can see I had to annoyingly walk my villager all the way across the map there to get a dock down, and the timing was a little off, but we've got 200 wood now. I quickly scroll over and chuck that dock down. And as you're Portuguese, you get a town centre shipment every time you age up. And I decided to put it there quite defensive, quite close to the other one as well. Because at this point, we weren't too sure if they were going to be rushing. So you can see on the mini-map there that Nick's just exploring down south there to see if he's got a dock down. It doesn't look like it. And also our opponents as well. I haven't even mentioned who our opponents are. Our opponents are actually British and Japanese. So quite formidable opponents. They can easily sort of outboom us potentially combined. So we just got to be careful. So everyone's reached the second age already. That's the sound of a fishing boat coming out. So we're just focusing on the fishing boats, and you can see that I've just put down a barracks as well with the wood shipment that I've got. I've got a gold shipment on the way now as well. So the order that I did this in was I went for wood shipment and then I went for a gold shipment. Now what I could have done here is I could have potentially got a second wood shipment and then built a trading post or two to try and help me out, because it's really, really helpful to get trading posts as the Portuguese, because it just helps with the shipments and everything like that. So it could be quite a help. So maybe I should have taken a trading post potentially with the wood that I've got. But we are going for the water boom, so maybe it's probably best to use the wood for the boats. But here you go, look, there you go. I put it down. So I've got 4 boats at the moment, just solely on fish or food. Solely on food at the moment. We're not transferring to gold. There's no real need because we've got the 700 gold shipment that's just come in. So that should bring us up to 1,000 gold, which is required. And now we've just got a little bit of a food shortage because of the fact that we're getting villies out of the town centres. So because we've got 2, we're constantly getting 2 villages, and I think that's meant that my food's gone down a bit. So we could probably take the 2 people off of wood. There's probably no need to have 2 people on wood right now. I mean, we aren't getting ships, which is annoying. I could use this home city card now to get the 700 wood. I'm quite surprised I haven't got 700 wood, so I should really get that. That should be my next shipment. But instead, I went for the gather rate. So I'm not too sure about this decision here from me. Like, I don't know if you guys, as I say, make sure to put down your comments below what you think, what areas I could improve on in this game. But I'm not too sure about that, going for the rendering plant. Because, I mean, it's increasing gather rate for both fish and whales, but I think that's probably more effective if you have more ships. So probably the best thing will probably just be getting the 700 wood, I imagine. There's no need to get any sort of caravels or anything like that right now. We've scouted. They haven't got a dock yet. We don't know if they are going to put a dock in the future, but there's probably no point in getting those out. So it's probably just the easiest thing is just going for the 700 wood. And that's probably what I should have done instead of going for the rendering plant. But alas. Okay. So nothing too interesting going on here. I'm just trying to search for the food sources in the water, making sure that I'm still focusing on food, because at the moment I'm delaying my age up here. You can see that I need a little bit more gold now because I've spent on, I think it was a market research that I spent. Now the rendering plant's done, so I'm going to get some increased gather rate from the ships. But as I say, honestly, I think I should have gone for the 700 wood. I think that would have been a better decision in the long term, but you know, what can you do? Okay. So nothing much going on here. So Nick's obviously, we've completely dominated the trade route, which is really, really good. So we've managed to get to occupy that, and Nick's taken 3, which is fair enough. I mean, the Ottomans, it's kind of crucial for them to have trading posts. Maybe it would have been better maybe sharing it, so two each, not too sure. But we've gone for the 3 trading posts for the Ottoman and the 1 trading post for me, so I'm just taking that treasure close to my base, focusing on food still haven't aged up. So personally, I think if I'm going to be trying to get into the Fortress Age quick, I probably should have done it. Should have done it by now. A little bit slow on the age up, and I had to transfer a few fishing boats there to gold, but what I could have done is I could have just used the market, could have sold some food, and then easily got into it a lot quicker, and I didn't, but you know how it goes. So we've got a lot of food coming. I'm not getting a villager out of the second TC, so I'm not doing that. I should be doing that right now. I'm just sort of sat there waiting, and I've got 500 food coming up now, free. Still haven't got a villager. Villagers are now coming out. So that's one of my real downsides. So one of my like disadvantages right now in this game is just remembering to make villagers. I still struggle to just keep remembering to make them, which is kind of a shame. So I put a house down there just to help out, because I know that I'm going to be, well, the house isn't going to help out, but it's going to help out for the pop. The reason I did that is because I'm anticipating getting quite a bit of military out, so I don't want to be pop capped. Nick here is just trying to push out, and he sees a humongous force there from red. That was a real big force. I'm just trying to figure out how this game goes, because I don't know if we actually win or lose this one. I can't remember. There's 2 recordings that I've got, and I've selected this one. And I must have kept it for a reason. But I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure if we win or lose this one. I can't remember. I think we do win it. Pretty much all my recordings that I save are ones that I win. It's probably not the best thing. You guys should probably pretty much save a lot of your recordings, or at least watch them, especially if you want to get more competitive. It's really, really good to have a look at what mistakes you're making. So here we go. We've got Blue pushing out. He's sort of gone longbow musk there. That's quite a well-known composition for the Brits, and he's taken my trade post down, and he's taken one of Nick's down as well, so that's good for them. I'm still producing fishing boats at the moment, but to be honest, I could have probably had a lot more fishing boats if I got that wood shipment rather than the rendering plant. But hey, let's not get hung up on the rendering plant too much. So got another TC coming in, and you can see he's pushing forward here now. And I just want to get that TC down, because I didn't want him to rush and to destroy that TC shipment. So I just quickly put it down, and now I'm getting a ton of Castadors out to try and deal with this army here. And I'm just trying to use my town centres here to shoot as many of them down. To be honest, I don't think he's going to get it down. Nick's coming to my aid here, so he's bringing a couple of Jans forward, which is nice. At this time, I'm not too sure if it does happen, because I did play this game a few days ago. But if I was the red player, I would definitely start pressuring yellow. I'd definitely start pressuring Nick if I was the red player right now. That's what I would do. But anyway, I've got a couple of Castadors out. Hopefully going to help here. And you can see our economy is quite down here. Our score overall is a lot lower compared to the blue and red player. You can see we're doing quite good at, you know, getting those fishing boats out, both of us trying to secure the water to help our economy here. But their economy seems to be a lot better than ours, and they're not even on the sea, which is kind of crazy. So I've got 2 organ guns there just because I was getting pressured, because I wasn't too sure whether we were going to win that fight. And you can see here that the organ guns are going to become very effective here, because there's a ton of infantry coming from red now. So these organ guns should hopefully help. And I think I go ahead and repair the town centre there. I keep forgetting what my repair hotkey is. I keep forgetting it. I need to remember what my repair hotkey is. So we've got another one here. We can see we're queuing up a ton of fishing boats. I'm getting some hunting dogs now to help out with the food, because we are low on food. I've got a ton of wood. I don't know why I'm collecting wood. Shouldn't be. I've got 800 of it. It's not necessary right now. You can see a little engagement here, bringing up the organ guns. Getting a couple of volleys off there, which really, really helped. Castadors will do well against those musks. And you can see that I still got an issue with food, because I'm trying to get Castadors out. I'm trying to get Villies out. So right now, food is like, I really, really need food. Yep, you are indeed being streamed, Nick. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so I don't know why I've got 3 on wood there, to be honest. So 3 on wood needs to be taken off and moved over to food right now. Don't look at my eco. It's okay. We're not judging here. No one's judging. So it's all a learning experience. That's why I like to do these replay analysis, just to give you guys an idea of like, I mean, my skill level, I'm not going to speak for Nick, but my skill level is still very, very low in the game. So you can definitely see areas to improve on. And this is what I suggest you guys to do. Definitely. What I'm doing right now, I suggest you guys to do, you know, if you want to play competitive and you want to see what things you did right, what things you did wrong, what you could improve on, you know. So here we go. So I'm moving out here because I want to take my trading post back. I want to make sure that we don't get sort of so we don't basically want to make sure that we have that map control. We don't want to lose the map control. So I'm making sure that I'm pushing back out. I've got a okay size of troops here for the sort of composition that they're going. Shouldn't have any problem with taking them down. I am worried that they were going to transition to cavalry potentially. So that's why I built the stables there. And with the idea of getting some goons out, some dragoons, that will be able to deal with cavalry. Because dragoons are very, very good for Portuguese because you have really, really good upgrades, unique upgrades. So if we just look here, for example, the dragoon combat, that's also good for hussars as well. So if you do want to go hussars, it's also pretty good. 20% on damage and 20% on hit points is really, really good. Also, you've got the organ guns there, and you do have a 4th unique card for dragoons that you can get, but it's not in here. I don't have it in my deck, but I have it in my my decks that I use now. And it's called the Genitors. That's the Genitors, not the Genitals. So just to clarify. So here we go. So I'm building that TP back. I want to establish my control here. So I'm using one of my veals there to push out the hunts. Because the way that I see the Portuguese, if you've played StarCraft, I sort of see the Portuguese as treating them a little bit like Zerg. So with Zerg in StarCraft, that they sort of expand over the map and they have a really big eco. And you put lots of town centres, or they're called hives if you haven't played StarCraft. And they just sort of spread over the map. And that's how I sort of want to try and play the Portuguese or Portugal in the future. I kind of want to be a little bit more aggressive with them. Try and get those TCs further out into the field, so that it gives you more map control. You can take more of the hunts in the middle of the map, more of the resources, and you can also use your town centre as well as a defensive building as well. So that's kind of what I want to try and learn to do. You can see like my sort of setup right now, I've got my 3 TCs down. They're quite in quite a defensive position. And you can see, look at the amount of gold I got. I've got way too much in gold right now. So what I need to do is probably move some over to wood. Wood and food, basically. I've got way too much on gold. It's mainly because of the fact that I've got the fishing boats are also gathering gold, which is infinite on the sea. So it's really, really crucial that, you know, as you get into the fortress age, probably want to move some of your fishing boats off of food. Food only has a finite amount. I think it's 500 each location, but I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. To here, so you can see I found another whale there. So luckily, I've actually got a lot on food right now. I'm not making any villies. Look, 500 is right. Okay, cool. I'm not making villies. Look, this is one of my problems. I'm not making them. So if you're not, gotta keep constantly making villies. One of my tips in my 5 beginner tips. I'm not even following one of my beginner tips. Look, it's not good. It's not good. But I'm herding. See, look, nice little herd there. I think at this point we should probably upgrade the trade route. We seem to have better control. I think maybe upgrading the trade route would be a good idea to do at this time. Very, very good for both Ottoman and Portugal to have that upgraded trade route, because you can set it to wood and it can just collect wood for you. So here we go. So let's just have a quick pause here. So what have we got? We've got a bunch of, if I just come off the view lock, whoa, that was weird. So here we go. So we've got just pretty much just a musk bow combo. You can see that they're upgraded. And you've got the musks that are upgraded as well. But I think we're going to do okay here, to be honest, because the Cazadors have a range resistance of 0.45. The Bowmen only have a range resistance of 0.3, and they only do 20 damage, whereas the Cazadors only do 18. So, but the musks, they do not have any sort of range resistance, and you've got the big organ guns as well, which will hopefully help us out here. So here we go. Let's go for it. Let's see how this little engagement goes. Now, what I am going to start doing, because I've watched some recent videos, and attack moving, I would not suggest to attack move at the moment. The way that attack move is in the game, currently in the state it's in, I just would not recommend attack moving. It's really buggy, and what it does, as you can see here, I attacked move here. What it does, it causes your troops to like bunch up a lot more than they should do, and that's really, really bad for like artillery. Like anything artillery could just blast through there, and you could take down a hell of a lot more troops. What I suggest is, I know it's kind of really manual to do, but if you have like your group of units, is just select half of them and just right click and just select another part of your troops and click and select another, and then after they've obviously done their first shot and the unit's dead, they will then start to auto attack the other units. That's what I've been seeing other players doing, like higher level players, but I'm not too sure if that's a good thing to do. Who knows? Anyway, the organ guns are ripping off there, which is nice. They take a couple down. I do like the organ guns, but I just don't think they're very viable in the later game. I think it's just better to go like horse artillery or falconets or something like that. Anyway, we're going to go back to the view lock. So you can see, let's have a look at the economic here, the score here. So we're still down. We're not doing too well here. They're actually pretty much mirrored each other, look. So I don't know whether or not they actually know each other and they actually play as a team together, or whether they're just a random teammate, but they're pretty much on board, both of them. They're pretty much identical score, which is kind of crazy. Me and Nick here, not looking too good. Haven't even hit the 20k on the score, so it's something to note and just to bear in mind. Score isn't everything, but just bear that in mind when you're making engagements and stuff like that. Just take a note of what the score is and what their overall power is. Power. I don't really know what the score is made up of. I thought it was just purely economical. I think it's just the value of everything, personally. I think it's like the value of like how many villages you have, all of your buildings, your military. I think it's all of that makes up your score. Anyway, I'm going to be the first one there to get into the industrial age. And the thing with Portuguese is they kind of just blow up a bit. There's a point within the fortress age that when you have 3 TCs and you're creating villages off of those, if you create villages, that is, like, I'm not very good, but if you constantly create villages, it just starts to blow up. Like your economy gets big, you know, and especially with the fishing boats there, getting the gold on the sea from the whales, that's definitely going to help as well. So here I decided to bring my TC down a little bit further down, being a little bit more aggressive with where I put my TC. So it can sort of try and potentially support me if I'm fighting and I need to back off. The TC can be there to help. I think stuff you destroy goes into it too. I don't know. Yeah, well, I guess if you destroy their buildings, then their score will reduce, won't it? But I'm not too sure. It's one of these mysterious things. There's probably some sort of forum post on it or something like that, but I don't know. You can see my composition. My composition here is like predominantly Cazador, because I know that he's going predominantly infantry, so I'm quite happy to roll with the Cazadors. You see here, we're just sort of going to trade here a little bit. And I am attack moving here, and you can see that they're bunching. And I am trying to move the troops. Organ guns here getting a couple of volleys off, which is nice, taking the archers down. Because the archers have low hit points, and those organ guns will shred through the archers, which is really, really nice. Got my dragoons here, and I'm making sure that I'm creating more troops. I'm getting the Cazador upgrade because I got into the industrial. My friend Nick here has got into the industrial as well. And this is where we start to try and see if we can catch up. We're in a better age than they are. We've got all the trade posts. So look at that. We've got the whole trade route. We should upgrade the trade route. We haven't upgraded it yet. So I would suggest that in this scenario, probably upgrade that trade route a lot earlier, I think. And maybe get the native thing here as well. What's this? I do build it. But I don't even know what that... I need to learn about the native trade posts. Definitely need to learn about those and what they do. So 63 veals here, so I'm quite happy. I'm getting a lot of veals. I'm making sure that I'm getting more. Decided to build a mill. I'm not too sure why, because there's still some hunts that I could probably gather. But oh, here we go. In Age of Empires 3, the score simply measures the value of all the player's assets, summing up the resource values of all units, buildings, stored resources, and technologies, and dividing it by 100. I don't think they divide by 100 for DE. No, I think that's the legacy way. But yeah. Okay, that's interesting. There you go. That's pretty much what I said, basically. Sort of. Anyway, I try and push up on blue here, and I know that they're playing very defensively. Lots of walls. Interesting walls. I quite like it, actually. But I think there isn't a gap, but he's using the power of his longbowman and the range to take down some of my dragoons. So I've got to be careful because the longbowman will counter the dragoons, so I just need to be careful of that. You can see here, I've got a factory wagon just sat here. This is one of the things that I need to get better at as well, is when the home city shipment comes out, I actually find the home city shipment and I don't just let it disappear, or I don't actually use it. That's what's happened to me a lot of times. So I've got a factory wagon just sat here doing nothing. I've got a second factory on the way, so I really, really want to bolster my economy at this point. I think we're starting to look a lot better. We're starting to overtake them. The Reds have got into industrial, but the blue here is still in Fortress Age. So I always tend to get 2 factories. Unless I'm being pushed, I will always just prioritise those 2 factories first when playing the European civs. Personally, that's just me. Maybe it's wrong, who knows. There's a hotkey for finding wagons, which helped me with factories and forts. Okay, I'll have to see what that is. It's probably a really annoying hotkey that I'll never remember, but I'll have a look. You can see here that I've got a huge amount of gold. Now, probably what I could do is just, if there's any villagers collecting gold, get them off, because the fishing boats are pretty much doing all the work, and move them on to either wood or food, to be honest. So see, I've got 2 factory wagons now just stuck there, look. And then I find them, I'm like, oh my god, there's the factory wagons. And I quickly put them down there, so. I haven't actually got any sort of dedicated wall. You can see here I've got no dedicated wall. Nick's done a nice little dedicated wall for himself, but I don't actually have one at all. Now, if they were a bit more aggressive, I probably would go into... I would probably commit and start to build a wall. But if I was going to build a wall, I would probably build one pretty much along here. And I think I do actually build a wall. I just can't remember because it was a few days ago. But yeah, probably build a wall from about here all the way along to here probably. Just to make sure that, you know, I've got the wall as in front as much as possible. Anyway, so you can see here that I'm just deciding to take down as many shrines as possible. I've got to be careful here. I do have the organ guns a bit exposed. There's no military really around them, so cavalry could easily come around here and take them out. But if we just have a quick look at the decks of the enemy. Oh, you can't. Oh. Okay, can't. Your organ guns are killing the deer, so he can't even rebuild. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. Oh yeah, because of the splash damage. Must be the splash damage just like massacred all of the deer. Wow. That's a BM and a half if ever I've seen it. That's amazing. But what I should do is try and get my villagers to come out here maybe. A couple of them. Like I've got some villagers here, which is nice. So I'm still making sure that I'm getting as many hunts as possible, because it's so much better to get hunts rather than use your mills, which I've got here. But here we go. There's a battle going on here. We've got Red pushing out, and you can see that he's got a few Naginatas, and he's got his Daimyo. So that's a unit that you're going to really want to focus on. Make sure that they make sure that you kill. I'm pushing up with my organ guns here. He's got a lot of infantry, which is really, really good for my Cassadors and organ guns. And you can see that the organ guns there, just getting through quite a few of them. Naginatas are pushing up because they're going to counter the Cassadors. I've got a couple of Dragoons on them, trying to do damage here. Really, the Cassadors should just be focusing the Ashigari. They shouldn't be worrying about the Naginatas. You can see here that the more dragoons coming in. The dragoons don't really need to be here because they don't really do a great deal against heavy infantry, but they're there anyway. So we're just going to go to the locked view. Actually, hang on. Am I zoomed out? Okay. Yeah, I am. So you can see here that I'm putting another mill down. I mean, I've just got so much gold. I actually do have people mining gold. Right now, in this situation, with 4,000 gold, do not need them. Kind of depressing moment, not going to lie. Bambi flashbacks. Bambi flashbacks. That's brilliant. Yep, so here, I mean, to be honest, dragoons have very, very low siege damage, but, you know, at least if I can start to siege some of the shrines, it should hopefully bring out the opponent a bit more so I can take more of his military down. You can see here that we're just, because the sea is not contested, this is one of the reasons why they're starting to fall behind. You can now see that our economy, my economy particularly, is starting to take off. So I'm pretty much up to the level of our opponents. Nick, well, we won't talk about Nick. Nick struggled on this game. He did get hounded a lot, to be honest. He got attacked a lot. So it's my job to try and help him out, you know, as much as I can. Thanks. Yeah, so I put down an armory there actually, which is really, really good. I recommend if you are going predominantly with skirmishers, is to get your armory down and to get the top left upgrade, which I can't remember what it's called, but basically it makes your skirmishers more effective against heavy infantry. I would recommend getting that upgrade. You can see I'm still getting villagers. I've got 80 villagers now, which is really, really good. I had 5,000 gold there, which is insane. And I'm looking at a point where I could potentially go Imperial, but I would rather pressure my enemy than go Imperial. I don't think it's necessary. So here I'm pushing forward. Oh no, decide that I don't. I'm just pretty much getting villagers out right now. I've got a gunpowder infantry upgrade, which is really, really good because it helps with the Cassadors. It just buffs their damage and their hit points. So I've got that coming in very shortly. Quick question, anybody in the stream. If I pause here, when you click on a soldier and you see that it's like plus 49, for example, does that mean the plus 49? Does that mean the upgrades from your town centre have caused the addition there? Or does it also take into account when you upgrade your units from like the barracks, for example? So when you upgrade them through the ages. So what's that plus 49 represent? Is that just your upgrades from like your armory, from your TC shipments, like your home city shipments? Or does that also include when you actually upgrade the full unit when you age up, if that makes sense? Kind of struggling to form that question, but yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, so I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, so he's gone Hussars, which is a good option for him because, you know, I've primarily gone with the skirmishers, but he's got to bear in mind that I've got dragoons. And those dragoons has cleared up the Huss. So I'm feeling really confident at this point. He's pushed out with 4 or 5 Huss. I'm not too sure what he was going to do there. You can see that I'm upgrading the ranged cavalry. Is that Caracol? Or Saracol, however you pronounce it. And that's the armory upgrade for ranged cavalry, which is good. And that basically increases your line of sight on your range, I think. And Nick sent me 1,500 gold. I think he sent me that. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate your 1,500 gold. I think you sent it to me because I wanted to get into Imperial, potentially. Because I don't know why I needed that gold. You can see I'm shuffling on the factories here. I'm upgrading the factories, and I think I'm switching the factories to wood, potentially. Because the only reason I'm going to need wood right now is pretty much for TCs, maybe. Because I was poor and you were floating a lot. Wait, hang on. Because you were poor, you gave me 1,500 coin. And you're saying that you were poor? I don't know. It's saying that you sent me 1,500 gold. Or did I? I don't know. I can't remember. I thought I said that you sent it to me. No, you sent it to me. Oh, okay. Sorry. Apologies. Here you go. Look, I've actually got enough here right now to get into Imperial, but I don't actually get into it. I've maxed out on villies now, which is awesome. 100 villies. We're really kicking off now with the economic score. 47,000 on the economic score for me. 51,000 still. So still, like, our opponents are still high up there. They just seem to be turtling quite a lot now. They're not really pushing out too much. We can see in the mini-map here that Nick's very close to the Red Army here. And I am actually starting to get into Imperial, so I decided to make the commitment and do it. We've got the trade route upgrade as well, which is really good. To be honest, at this point with the trade route, I could probably change it to resources. Potentially, maybe change it to wood, depending on what I'm lacking in. Let's have a little look here because we've got a little engagement here. I'll come off the view lock here. So we've got an engagement. Nick's got some horse artillery, which are really strong artillery. Super strong, 143 siege damage, and they do 3 times that to infantry, which is absolutely nuts. You can see them just getting absolutely blasted. Oh, I mean, the longbowmen are just not going to stand a chance. I mean, they're actually not doing a lot of damage to Nick's Jans. And the reason Nick's Jans there is basically they're such high HP. That's a really good thing about Janissaries. They have a really high HP pool. So it's a lot harder for skirmishers and like longbowmen to do anything. Punkaras, how you doing, man? You redeemed something. Choose my next Iron Harvest faction and reserves. Oh, I need to definitely change that. I don't play Iron Harvest really anymore, so I need to change that. Maybe to some Age of Empires related things. Maybe choose my next Civ or something like that. I might need to change that on Twitch. Anyway, let's just have a little look at Nick here because I didn't actually really see this battle, and you can see that I'm starting to push up here. Nothing too interesting happens with me, but I know that Nick was obviously trying to fight off the Japan here. So now he's unloading his horse artillery, and it's just carnage. Unfortunately, the horse gun there focused on the explorer and taking down the shrines, but it doesn't matter. You can see that for some reason I'm sort of reinforcing with dragoons. I don't really know why. I'm sort of expecting Naginata. And if we go to me here, we can see, look at the mass bowmen from the blue, pushing out with hussars, which is kind of scary. And I actually have to walk back all of my Cassadors. To be honest, I probably don't need to do it. I probably could have just taken them out. But then I saw this second amount of hussars. And these are the King's Life Guards. I think they're the Royal Guard for the British. Punkaras, maybe Incas. Yeah. I can play Incas. Yeah. Once we finish with this replay analysis, I can give Incas a go. You can see I've got some mortars here because I found out that they've got a lot of walls, and the only way to get through that ideally is to just get a couple of mortars. So that's what I'm doing. So we are max popped, and we're nearly going to be pop capped as well to the max. We've got 100 vils still, and we've just got a great amount of stuff going on here. Probably don't need that many on food. Probably could take them off, get a plantation or an estate, they're called now. Build an estate maybe, or just take the mines. Look, there's mines here. Still got mines. Oh, look at that. I'm moving over to mines. It's so weird. I just sort of expecting my... I just sort of anticipate what my past self does. Anyway, let's go back to Nick. I'm talking rubbish. Nick's in a bit of spot of bother here because he's sort of getting hounded by both people here. I'm kind of being a bit of a bad teammate. I'm not really pushing. I should try and push as he's trying to deal with both the teammates, both of the enemies there. You can see the mortars. I'm just trying to use them to get through. Plantation late game are better than mines. Ah, yes, they are. Yeah, that has been proven, isn't it? You are right. Yes, sorry. Yeah, you got to upgrade them, of course. Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately, Nick sort of finally lost that battle there, but he did hold off both enemies, so congrats to him. I've built a capital as well, and I don't really know why I built that capital, to be honest. I don't know if I've got any upgrades in it. Right. I always forget about the capital building. It's always a good thing to remember, especially if you can get into Imperial. That capital building can give you some serious resource collection rate upgrades. So some really good eco upgrades. You can see here that I've got a couple of heavy cannons. I think I've got that from the TC. Annoyingly, I'm probably going to lose both of them. But I'm trying to focus my dragoons here on the cavalry so I don't lose them. And I managed to keep one, it seems, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when I'm going to lose it. Oh, I managed to keep it, which is great. I've got a lot of artillery here. I've got the Rebulls, they're called, which is basically the fully upgraded organ guns that essentially do 6 shots and they're 46 damage each, which is kind of crazy. Got mortars coming in here just to apply more pressure. You can see that he's just got a bunch of bowmen here. And he's out. There you go. That's it. So blue is out, and we will continue. We will continue with the analysis until red's out. But look at this. We've got a big fight here coming up. Red is not giving up right now. I don't think these two knew each other. Just because usually if teammates know each other, they'll both decide to resign at the same time. So they probably were just random players. And honestly, I would really suggest, if you're going to play team games competitively, especially like in ranked and stuff, is really find someone that you can talk to like over Discord or something. Because communication is really key and it really does help and it gives you that advantage. So you can see here, Nick, unfortunately, he's getting a little mopped up here. The Naginatas are really doing him over here. But he's managed to hold it. He's got 3 horse artillery. He's got another 3 on the way as well. And you can see that his artillery is really helping him out here. And we get a wow. A wow. That's what we get from the opponent. DC for my mate. Like, I'm sorry. DC for my mate. I don't know. It seems very suspicious, doesn't it? I just don't know if he DC'd there, to be honest. It seems suspect, but bit sus. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, you can see my score now is at nearly 72,000, which is crazy. It's just taking off more and more. You can see that I've got 10,000 food. Way too much food. The Ottomans should be okay against the Naginatas because their hand attack damage is like 50, which is pretty good. The Naginatas are actually good at they're good at infantry overall, but they're not good at heavy infantry. So the Naginatas will actually lose these fights against Jans. Didn't get a DC message, so obviously a lie. Oh, there you go. There you go. It did seem a bit weird. It's like, oh yeah, DC from my mate. It's like, I don't think you were mates. I just had that feeling, like, I just don't know. You know, and you got Nick here just rolling in Jans, and that's it. There it is. I sort of just push a bit on this side. Nothing really much happened here, to be honest. It's annoying that you can't get rid of this. But yeah, nothing much really happened on this side once I defeated the blue player. It was pretty much me against the blue, and it was Nick against the red. And that was pretty much it. But, you know, Nick did take a few hits early on, and that's how his eco suffered, I think. And I managed to help him out, and luckily we stayed afloat. But a really good replay. Please let me know, guys, down below in the comments, and also in Twitch chat, what you think I could have done better in that game, what you think me and Nick could have done better. Any sort of advice would be really welcome. You guys know what to do to support the channel. As I say, you can catch me streaming on Twitch at Widgie1. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and I'll see you in the next video. I really need to stand my Jans over my arty. Yes, you do. Remember, kids, stand your Jans over your arty.